Hello once again. I've created a comprehensive list of items, add-ons, and powers for 10 killers that deserve to be in Dead by Daylight. Up first, we have Candyman. He's got a cult following in his own universe and also in the real world. But he would be a dreamcaster, a mix of Freddy and the Hag, almost, with a little bit of the artist. His base power would be Omen Recital. It'd be a stalker class. Candyman stalks his prey and grows stronger based on the amount of encounters he has with someone. After 3 encounters, the survivor is plagued by bees. Like 1 bee would start, then give it like a minute, 2 bees, and so on. Over time, this grows to a swarm that lacerates and injures, if not dispelled, by the chests around the map. It's akin to the VCR tape of the Onryu, and also a little bit of the trickster's knives when he throws them at you, when you grow a little bit of laceration over time. They will constantly utter the word Candyman, revealing their location while giving constant hallucinations, just like the Doctor, which will give madness if viewed for more than 4 seconds. So he's coming at you in more than one way. Any survivor stalked for more than 2 minutes, automatically condemned, then he could choose whether or not to kill you or leave you as a bee-ridden zombie survivor, when he could transfer his presence essentially to you, like the twins, where he can transfer to Victor in order to spy on other survivors. And it will be very obvious that you're in zombie mode when this happens. His first perk would be Encroaching Danger. Any survivor who takes 3 protection hits gains an automatic exposed, condemned, exhausted, and oblivious status effect for 60 seconds, and can be affected. Any infected survivor spawns bees that only attack other survivors in a 5-meter radius. You have to be very close, but it can be cleansed with healing from more than 2 or more survivors. Healing regresses if not completed, and this will turn into a mangled status. This is akin to the movies, in which essentially anyone around the person who Candyman is after starts seeing bees, and then after a certain amount of time they start seeing hallucinations of him. But if in a group of people, they can, kind of get together and kind of help protect that person. But if left alone, those people are gone. But anyone who usually comes in contact with them is the next one to be killed. And then we have, I don't know why this is going so slowly, perk number 2. There is no escape. All doorways in room entered during a chase blocked by entity for 4 seconds. Exits open automatically after a survivor is injured by any means. During this time, a survivor quick vault makes no sound. The doorways are blocked, meaning if you go into, let's say, a pallet shack area, it would take away the survivor's ability to use pallet, and they would pretty much have to find a window and get out of there quickly. Candyman in the movies has the ability, essentially, of the pinhead or the Cenobites, where he could just kind of warp reality. So if you're stuck into a bathroom, like if you walk into a bathroom, the doors are all open, all of a sudden there's no one there, and it's just you alone in his world. It's kind of like Freddy Krueger when he abducts the survivors into his nightmare realm. So this has a lot of play. I think this one shouldn't be able to be stacked with other perks that, let's say, block doorways. It's not Starstruck. I'm trying to think of but yeah, this would stack really well with certain perks, but I could see it being overpowering with other ones. But this is really just to change the meta of how the players react to Candyman. If, let's say, he's in his mode chase, but he's not entirely effective of attacking you until he haunts you enough to then gain manifestation. So he's essentially the spirit without being able to... The spirit mixed with the artist. The artist crows. So he can move, but he can't ever really attack you up until a certain point of condemnation, or you let that status build up. But he's an endgame. Endgame, I see almost hopeless getting away from this character. Worse than Michael Myers. Scratch Mirror Myers should have no kind of competition versus Candyman in this arena. Sorry about that. Someone's trying to get my attention. But yes, I think that perk would be very interesting. I think it would be an insanely cool meta to essentially be haunted by a character most of the match that couldn't exactly interact with you up until he manifested to that point. And then after that, you'd be able to see how the characters could either work together as a solid team or just completely get decimated. And then perk number 3 Like bees to honey, any survivor more than 30 meters away from the group or next closest survivor constantly leaves scratch marks and makes increased grunts of pain when injured. Hallucinations appear after 45 seconds in isolation, marking the survivor with killer instinct. This timer may be stopped by entering a locker or interacting with other survivors, i.e. completing other generators. This one is for survivors who are just running you amok with hiding behind barriers. They're not using lockers. They're not trying to do generators. This is for those survivors who essentially try to stifle the killer out to a deadlock. So after a certain amount of time, there's going to be kind of automatic doctor hallucinations, wherein if you don't at least appear in my field view, or let's say you have that one pesky survivor who's doing all the generators in the background, no, then all of a sudden that one will be there. But that one will start popping out, essentially punishing you for being a better solo survivor. But I think against Candyman, it would be kind of one of those things where instead of, I know we already have to worry about tunneling, but I'm hoping in a good case scenario, this would be able to kind of let you just bully a bully. If someone's flashlighting you a lot and then just disappearing, only showing up to hit the click and then disappear, this would be kind of like that. Makes them a lot easier to hunt, or at least take down, while the rest of the survivors are doing their thing. So Candyman is an isolate and execute type character. Essentially, if let's say Ghostface had crows, that'd be very interesting. And now I've added a very short list, because otherwise this video would be enormous, and it already is enormous, so bear with me. The first one is the Artist's Bloody Stump. Through your art, you have mastered pain. The killer gains 40% stun invulnerability after the first pallet stun. The entity destroys the pallet. Survivor inflicted with condemn build up for every stun inflicted. 1.2% speed boost token gain. 10 token limit. Lock of Beloved Hair. Increases movement speed by 3.5% when stunned. While chasing the obsession, 20-second duration, 30-second cooldown. The Hooks. When picking up a down survivor, gain invisibility and stealth. Any survivor witnessing another get on hook, you get afflicted with bees. And also you essentially see what you would see in the movie when Candyman is finishing someone off. Like, either I want this to be his Mori, or whenever you pick a survivor up, I think it would be awesome to have them just actually strung up in midair, just like walking around, actually facing up, like your feet are facing the ground, not just sideways, but there's like a hook sticking through your stomach and then you couldn't see who it is, just like the movie. I do have another example, but it would be revealing one of the later killers in this list, so I'm going to keep that to myself. And now for a list of the add-ons and items. The list of the guilty. Any survivor who takes a protection hit is inflicted with broken and mangled for 60 seconds and is automatically made the obsession. Mental and physical degradation. All survivors start injured. 30% speed boost to heal. After completing healing action inflicted with Madness level 1 and can be advanced by stalking. Mirror Mirror. The Candyman can project to any reflective surface on the map, which would be these mirror locations, and curse survivors from within that mirror. Survivors can block each mirror one per match, like throw a cloth or something over it to cover it. Blood Curdling. Any survivor put into the dying state forces all other survivors to scream regardless of location on the map, revealing them for 2 seconds. Which I think would be insane to the amount of hunt this killer could actively produce on a regular basis. In no way could you hide from him longer than. So you'd eventually have to team up and start trying to work and strategize against this killer, or just everything would fall apart almost immediately. The map location for this killer would be the Chicago borough, almost akin to the Michael Myers map, but with more apartments, let's say, like an apartment complex. And now for the backstory. I'll move this out the way. The Candyman has had many faces, one a slave, one an artist, and countless more. Done horrific wrongs by those who misunderstood him, his hand cut off and replaced by a rusty hook, his body covered in honey and stung by countless bees, his curse everlasting to bring woe and ruin to anyone who dare say his name. A surgeon with his hook and a master of his craft, the entity was more than interested. After an encounter with a few lost souls who managed to provoke his wrath, he was overtaken in shadow, awakening to a world like his, but not. His only task, inflict pain. His favorite torture device, a hook, plenty in number, lay in wait all over his killing ground. This would be fun. He would make them know his name. And I think right there you have a pretty awesome setup for a new killer. Powers, examples of add-ons and items that would, I don't know, mix things up in the meta, and a pretty solid start to this list. Okay, next up we have, alright guys, this is the killer that made me so excited to actually make this list, Xenomorph. Okay, so Xenomorph.
Wait, hello?
Hey, guess what they just announced?
Wait, what do you mean?
They just announced Xenomorph.
Fuck!
Okay, so I'm recording this on the 8th. So for my own sanity, I was right, but I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But I already made I already wrote this whole video out, so I'm just gonna keep doing this. Okay, I'm just gonna continue this entry in the slot, even though obviously it doesn't count as killers that should be, because now it is. But you know, we're gonna work with it. We're gonna work with it. Okay, guys. So I took about 4 days out of just doing this mock-up of examples that honestly caught me off guard. I mean, I'm happy, but I wanted to release this a lot sooner. And yeah, it just kind of deflated my excitement for completing this list. But I'm back, so we're gonna try to continue. So the base power impregnation. Oh, and I have not seen any of the actual any PTB, nothing on the new character to make sure this is an honest comparison of what I would hope for the character and then what actually happened. So the base power impregnation. After downing a survivor, the Xenomorph may choose to impregnate a single survivor, infecting them with killer's instinct and exhausted. The survivor may stave off infection for a short time by using medkits or syringes, but when the timer runs out, if that player uses any sprint burst for longer than 2 seconds, raising the heart rate, the hatchling spawns. Survivors will have heartbeat monitors available with the charges that may be replenished, finding flashlight batteries. Once detected, the survivors are inflicted with blindness, unable to see the killer's aura. Stealth mode. By staying still after 3 seconds, the Xenomorph will camouflage or just be able to like switch modes, kind of. And it can travel on the walls and the ceiling. It can mantle to rooftop or environments by, I guess, like using its tail or something. Can spawn hatchling locations after 4 hooks on survivors, and the eggs can be destroyed, but it will alert me to the location. Kind of like you cleansing a totem, but yeah, with an automatic killer's instinct on the egg. Because yeah, why would I just let you destroy my eggs as a Xenomorph? Okay, so perk number 1, it's in the vents. Gain killer instinct on any injured survivor fixing a generator 8 meters away from a locker. Survivor gains oblivious if not in chase with alien for 8 seconds. Any hatchling nest near gets a 10% haste in completion until the generator is completed or the survivor stops repairing it. That way you're kind of, whenever you're trying to do something, the survivors are getting pressured because the hatchlings, you kind of get to see the eggs folding open. Like in the movies when they go investigate. I think that'd be pretty sick. Okay, perk number 2, we have Immaculate Hunter. Headshots inflicted result in heavy injury, mangled, broken, and hesitation status. Like you can, essentially, even with the hunters, you can hit people anywhere on their body and it counts, but I feel like if you add in a headshot status to where it really means something, instead of just making it to where the hatchets inflict no matter where they hit, I think it would just, it'd feel much more like you're hunting down someone with accuracy and just mean execution. And then we have perk number 3, my personal favorite. You came back for the cat. Once the exit gates are open, terror radius increased 95% and 10% haste to killer for 40 seconds. After that 40 seconds, everything's back to normal, but just make sure any of these stragglers, the people that want to come back to help the person, essentially anyone who's trying to outlast Bloodwarded, gets a bit of a very serious experience trying to even stay around in endgame. Just get out of here if you have the doors open, but if you want to stay, we could play. And now for a list of the items and add-ons. Thought you got away. Can teleport underneath drop pallets that are unbroken. Where'd it go? Xenomorph spawns holes covered in saliva all around the map and can travel quickly underground from one to the other. This add-on gives a killer instinct. The survivor is within 10 meters of any entrance once the Xenomorph emerges. Bring her to the queen. Xenomorph can cocoon any survivor that has reached the second hook state or has been impregnated. and at least on hook one time. If the survivor is impregnated and on hook cannot be removed without a heavy injury status on said survivor. Get the big guns. At the cost of 2 chests, a flamethrower spawns on the map once exit gates are powered. If hit stun time increased by 80%, If so, hit stun time is increased by 80%. I'm trying to figure out how I wrote this. And Xeno also gains undetectable. Afterwards, last one standing. Oh, undetectable afterwards. Last one standing. If only one survivor left, Xenomorph gains 6% haste when exit doors are powered. This increases to 10%, based on how many survivors. Survivor like none other. Any survivor who stuns with a pallet or flashlight becomes the obsession and afflicted with fear for 60 seconds, screaming whenever within 20 meters of Xenomorph. Kind of like Nick Cage's new add-on, except just more directly related to Xeno. The hatchlings. Trade ability to cocoon for ability to create nests, kind of like with Freddy, with his ability to change to pallets if he wants to. That can be destroyed, but if left to hatch, they spawn 3 hatchlings to hunt any survivor who come in contact with them. Kind of like the twins, but auto target, and yeah, they just hunt you down and then try to infect you. And I think that'd be a pretty solid list. Let me know what you think about it in comments, and honestly kind of excited to see how close I am to what the actual release of the Alien. Like, I think I've obviously seen the thing. I put it in this review, but still, I'm excited to see what the differences were. I mean, this is an honest mock-up of what I think beforehand, and I'm excited they announced the character, but I'm excited to see how close I came. Let's see. And now for a quick backstory mock-up. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain outside, but it's going pretty crazy. Okay, so backstory. Xenomorph is a one-of-a-kind killer, born from a species that can impregnate and evolve any other species that it comes in contact with. Skin is hard as iron, blood of immensely acidic properties that will melt anything it touches. A stealth hunter you will never see or hear coming, with a bite that can penetrate the human skull like paper. It leaps close distances in a heartbeat, and if left to procreate, will create an army from just one, and will take over any planet without hesitation, and will not leave you the ability to stop the spread. Infection, hive mind, killer instinct, you will not survive. The entity could not miss this killer, truly one of a kind. It did not know how it got to this realm, but its job was simple: hunt and exterminate. Alright, now at the risk of this video being way too long, I think I'm just going to make this a 5-part series, 2 killers every episode. But the next episode, guys, be excited. On the next episode, we're going to have Jeepers Creepers and Chucky. I think this is going to be pretty fun. I have plenty more surprises for the other ones, and I'll be leaving teasers as we go, but John Carpenter's the thing. Like, okay, you see where I'm going with this. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.